All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, 7 p.m. meeting of the Dudley Planning Board. At this time, I would like to notify everyone that this meeting is being recorded and ask everyone to join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello. Yes, it is. Okay. Apologize for that. My mouth is so dry. Okay. New business. Approval of minutes for December 10th, 2025. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes for December 10th? I already read them, so I'm good to go.
Yeah, the tab is there. They're rather lengthy, but
Yes.
Brayton has made us sound better than we were.
I was going to say Braden is very, very detailed,
Yep.
and so at this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
I would make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the meeting minutes for December 10th, 2025 as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, unanimous. All right, on to standard business. Discussion status report on finishing construction of and acceptance of uncompleted/unaccepted subdivision streets, including, and we'll start with Pierpont Estates. I know they're still working on moving towards trying to get this thing on for the Springtown meeting for acceptance, so.
I was just missing a street light, right?
I think that's actually come in now. I think he's just going to do his as-built, and I do think he wanted to have his engineer or his attorney or somebody come in and talk to the board about something, had something to do with one of the lots up there.
All right.
Mr.
But-
Chairman, do we need to sign 2 copies of the minutes?
We do. I'm glad you reminded me, because last time we ended the
Do you have them?
whole meeting. I've got one copy.
Oh, minutes, right?
Yeah.
You need another copy?
I can give them my,
You got one?
Yeah, and I've got one, so we got 2.
Oh,
I remember that night, totally forgot. Recessed the meeting and all right, so as I was saying, we didn't have anything on, really new on Pierpont Estates. They're moving forward. Country View Estates, Eisenhower Drive. I don't have any update there. Braden, you have any updates on that, or?
not at this time.
Okay, all right.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, it was mentioned at the January 12th meeting of the Board of Selectmen that the betterment process is apparently going forward with
Yes,
regards to
yes.
Eisenhower Drive.
I had heard the same thing.
I don't know what state it is, but that is good news. We get that one finalized, hopefully.
Yep. Okay, next up is Lions Estates. So I heard that there might be someone here from Lions Estates this evening. No?
I guess not.
Oh,
I'm here from Galaxy.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You are, then.
And the one.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Doherty. I'm with Midpoint Engineering / Galaxy.
All right, so I didn't recognize you because we've
Yeah.
only spoken on the phone, so I apologize. So as I had explained to Mr. Doherty earlier, the reason why Lions Estates is on here wasn't because we were planning on necessarily discussing it tonight. It's just that it's on here as a recurring agenda item in case something pops up.
Yeah.
But then you would mention you wanted to come in and talk to,
Sure.
Board about-
Yes. So we're trying to wrap this up and get it on the Springtown meeting as well, if possible. Construction is nearly complete. The road's in, the final paving's in. We've done the sidewalks. There's a couple of items remaining. We did do a site walk back in November with the highway superintendent and Jeff Walsh from Graves Engineering. There's a few bounds that we've got to either make sure that the iron pins are remaining, or we got to set the bounds. I think there were 6 that were in question. And we have not installed the trees that are required per the subdivision regs, or the subdivision plans. We do have a member of Galaxy who's been communicating with I guess, kind of a spokesman for the neighbors as we've been going through there. We've talked about number of trees. Several of the residents would prefer not to have trees on their property. And whether tonight we request the board review that, or at a future meeting, we'd request that the number of trees be reduced. There are 31 proposed, about every 50 feet on center, which doesn't seem like tight spacing, but when you go out there and you spot where trees would need to be, it's very tight. I don't want to put words in the mouths of the neighborhood, but I don't think that they want their lawns dug up again. They've got irrigation systems. Most just would prefer not to have the trees. If you'd like, one suggestion I make, maybe we could, do a survey of the residents, and each resident could, make their feelings known whether or not they would want the trees on their lots. Each one would have at least 2. Some of them are proposed to have three trees. The second thing, our bond is coming up. We haven't requested a bond reduction. I think there's still a bond in, I think, somewhere in the orders of $253,000 or so. Jeff had put together an estimate of what his feeling it would cost to, finish the trees, the bounds, and legal work and survey work to get the road accepted, and he submitted that. I wouldn't think that the board's had time to review that yet. I think it just came out yesterday. So perhaps if we came back in February, we could discuss that as well.
Yeah, I mean, according to the report from Graves here, he's itemized everything and come up with just over 70,000. So seems like a reduction in bond would be appropriate at this time. So I would say, unless somebody else has a reason for not, I would say it would be appropriate for him to come back in February with a bond reduction request.
I just have a couple of questions, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
With regards to trees, I'm looking at the subdivision rules and regulations, page 37. The planning board may waive the tree planting specifications if they interfere with Title V requirements and/or the Dudley Board of Health regulations regarding the leach field. Would that be the case?
I didn't hear the first part, but it's not for the leach field. There's no leach fields
The first
here.
part of it is interfere with Title V requirements and/or.
Yeah, there's no septic systems here. They're tied into the sewer.
I'm not too sure what else we could do in terms of relieving that. I hate to see the trees go, to be honest with you. I know they're a pain in the neck because you got to rake the damn leaves, which is a favorite pastime.
I would say that in the past, traditionally, we have waived them in the past. I think we've had a discussion before where the regulations requiring trees along streets and subdivisions kind of harkens back to a time when people remember how beautiful it was to have these majestic-looking tree-lined streets. But that the reality is, as the trees grow, the root systems start to raise havoc with the sidewalks and whatnot. So in the past, I think what we've done is we've said, well, maybe we're not going to hold you to putting the trees in a straight line along the sidewalks, but try and preserve some of the trees existing. Problem with that is usually what happens is when you come in and you do the site work, the first thing you do is you strip everything off, you change grade, so you end up either exposing root systems on trees you're trying to save, or you end up partially burying a tree that, trunk that shouldn't be buried.
Well,
causes problems. So that's just my opinion.
maybe it's an age thing, but I harken back to days of yesteryear when we had trees, and it's not a bad idea.
I would say though, Mr. Clark, I'm sure you've driven through that development more than once, and that wasn't a situation where it was pretty devoid of trees to begin with. So I mean, in the backs of those yards, there's trees. When you go down to the end, there's substantial.
Well, I don't know that we're looking to consider this.
And there's the point that there's the possibility we've got actually people living there that don't want the tree.
Well, it's entirely possible too, but we do still have, whether we find them convenient or not, rules and regulations. So, to the extent that we can conform to those, I think we're well advised to do so. Also, with regards to the sidewalks and the grass plots, forgive me if I'm overstating this, but it looks to me like the sidewalks are kind of an afterthought. Because the grass plot idea, as presented on page 36 of the rules and regulations, never came into play. You familiar with that? It says 4 1/2, and that notes in parentheses 4 1/2 foot wide grass plot shall be constructed between the back edge of the berm and the front edge of the sidewalk. And I think the sidewalks got plunked in there at the last minute because somebody said, we have to have them, but we can't really do this or don't really want to do this. They were not planned accordingly.
Mr. Clark, begging your forgiveness, I remember that we actually discussed this previously regarding
I'm
that
sure we did.
situation, and what happened up there was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was going to be a situation where there were neighbors up there, or butters, that had already put in sprinkler systems and done lawn work, and then you guys came and you staked out where the limits were.
Correct,
And it
yes.
was that whole, people thought their lawns went to here, but in reality, you know, it was,
Yeah, he didn't have enough room
Yeah.
for that.
yeah. And-
I think then you've just proven my point, that the sidewalks and the grass plot became an afterthought.
But they didn't want
They were
them.
not planned originally as they should have been by the original contractor on site. And
That
something
may be
came
the-
into
yeah.
effect, maybe with the transition to your company, I'm not sure exactly how.
Yeah,
that
There was a couple of driveways there that the
And later-
grading was not going to allow them to
Right.
do it.
whoever was doing the initial work on this should have made provision for that, and it should have been in place such that the homeowners would have known it from the beginning.
Right.
When that was staked out, it looked like the whole road was shifted and they didn't have enough
Well,
room for
it's,
that.
it's, I guess we're going with the idea that it's easier to ask forgiveness than it is to get permission. But,
Yeah, part of that is, if you recall, the home builder was constructing the road. It was falling behind time schedule. The neighbors were not very happy. We, as the owner, came in and decided to take that on ourselves. We hired a professional contractor to come in that builds roads to finish it up. What we found was that, yes, the grading for the sidewalk wasn't held. There were more than half of the homes and driveways were already there. Had we moved the sidewalk back another 3 feet or 2.5 feet or whatever the distance, the impacts to their driveways, their lawns, their irrigation systems.
I was there for
It
the
was-
site
it
visit
was-
when
it
Jeff
was
was
going
out
to-
there, and the driveways were already paved.
yes,
Yeah.
So it would have been a nightmare to try and.
it would have been, but it would have been better if it had been
Should be,
planned
oh,
for in the
absolutely.
beginning.
It
as
should have been
opposed
done,
to
oh, absolutely.
somewhere trying to do something or looking at some
But I
kind of
guess-
remediation, which would be expensive.
And-
So what I'm
we
saying
weren't
is that
in-
he can't do anything about that
And
now,
it's-
so we're
Yeah,
gonna,
and-
but I get your point. You want to put it on record that it should
Shame
have
on
been
us in
done.
terms of not having been more vigilant and had been upfront on that.
Yeah. And we weren't trying to hide anything. We did have the highway superintendent
I'm
review
not
it.
accusing anyone
Yeah.
of trying to hide anything. I'm just looking at opportunity lost.
So let's get back to the trees, though, because that's something we can talk about now. So what does the board think about the idea of maybe polling the neighborhood to see what they think about the trees?
How many houses are in the subdivision?
I believe there's 19 or 20.
I mean, I would. what
Oh, no,
would-
I'm sorry, maybe there's I don't know. It may be 17, I think is probably the right number.
One of the things we've done in the past when the homeowners came in and the street trees weren't planted, and they said that they didn't want to have them put in the front of their house because they didn't have an opportunity to see where they're going to fall, and some of them might fall in front of their picture windows or something like that. What we've done in the past is we basically went to the developer and said, okay, and like in your case, like you're supposed to put in 31 trees, and if there's only 19 or 20 houses there, or 17 houses, whatever, what we've done in the past was said, okay, you know, as long as you give one tree per lot, and the homeowner gets to pick where the tree goes, you know, that's,
Yeah, in some cases, the homeowners aren't going to want to pick a spot. I know that at least some of them who've said that, but you certainly, we could, I think, start with polling them and see, or maybe the folks that do want the trees, maybe more
I
trees to put
understand
there.
we got the regulation.
Yeah.
But I think we do have the power to waive it.
Well,
And I'm not thrilled about the spectacle of forcing a tree on somebody who doesn't want it in their lot.
Somebody else's problem.
Yeah,
what upsets me, I think, a bit, Mr. Chairman, is that this should have been known up front. That this document was published years ago. This is not something that came to earth the last 20 minutes.
I'm surprised they didn't ask for a waiver right at the beginning.
Well-
That's what most developers do on the tree situation. They come in and it's
I
a
mean,
waiver.
This is something that should have been presented to the owners when they were buying the property, or they should have been made aware of this. Say, hey, we got these rules and regulations, and this is what we're looking to do in terms of conforming to them. Maybe you want to take a look at it and see what that entails, and whether that is
But I-
objectionable to you, and if so, then maybe you want to buy somewhere
I
else.
think the current owners, though, aren't even the ones who did the subdivision originally. I believe the subdivision was done, I forgot, the other gentleman who owned it before.
Yeah, that one house lot.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
he did the subdivision
Yeah,
and
he
then he
abandoned
sold
it.
it to Galaxy, I believe.
Yes, and.
Right, you bought that property with the subdivision already approved, correct?
Correct.
No, he abandoned the subdivision.
Yeah, he abandoned it.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
but
And
same
then he brought it
idea.
back,
In other
yeah.
words,
But-
they weren't there when the soup
They-
was being cooked. So
they
now I
bought
don't
the
know how much
property and
we can
designed
blame them for the
No,
broth
I'm
being.
not looking to blame. I'm just looking at what I believe is a lack of communication and understanding. And
Okay.
What
And how about the last
people
lot
may
down
have
there?
thought to be the case isn't necessarily
The
the
one out
case.
the driveway at the end?
Yes,
With
it
the
looks like we
cargo
have,
container
according
and
to this
everything out there?
option, in terms
Is that
of
still all there?
waiving something, but again,
Yeah.
every time we do that, we it's like a death by 1,000 cuts. We have rules and regulations, we keep chopping away, we'll waive this, and we'll overlook this, and we'll give you a little latitude on this thing, and eventually, we don't have any rules and regulations any longer. And obviously, in your situation, where there's this change in, I don't know, if it's ownership or management, or whatever your function happens to be here, but somewhere along the line, some of these things never got out to the public. And the public, by that I mean the people that are buying the properties. Or maybe to you as a developer, I'm not sure. Are you conversing with these rules and regulations, had a chance to look at them?
This was a unique arrangement where we bought the
Alright.
property and the builder
It was a handoff.
was building all the homes. We were more of a financial.
All right, so we'll go back to the burden of making this known, which probably have fallen on him, and it sounds like he did not deign to do so. It's regrettable, and I hope that this is not something that will be reoccurring.
So the chair is just,
And I can't say that we've been very responsive to all the homeowners there. There's been several questions have come up along the way. We've always answered very, very quickly.
Well,
Yeah.
my impression in terms of the people who've been before us is that you've been responsive in terms of the homeowners in that particular development. But there's another level of responsibility beyond them, and that's, I think, we're looking to address here. Thank you.
now, on that thought, I would like to point out that since Galaxy has retaken the reins on the project, they have been very responsive to concerns from residents up there. Prior to that, I know we were sitting here month after month and wondering
Yeah.
what was going on.
Yeah, we
So,
were getting promised every time that it was gonna
Right,
be done.
right. So now
Happy
this-
it's done.
No,
Now
the
that things are
situation
being
is
done-
definitely better, but unfortunately, there are things that
yelling
have
at me?
happened that we
Oh, Mr. Clark,
can't reverse.
hurting my feelings.
Uh,
Okay, so you think maybe by next month you could have some polling data for us? on-
That's what we're hoping.
on
We've been
this?
in communication pretty.
Okay, and then that way, when you come, if you come back in for the bond reduction, we can talk about it then. And then if you have some people that are gonna be just like, absolutely, I don't want a tree, you might wanna mention to them, come to the meeting,
Sure.
speak on it personally.
Maybe a couple trees in between the property lines.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety in terms of trees. I mean, you don't necessarily planting a redwood in front of
no,
everybody's property.
that's why, and I don't think like if we were to reduce the number of trees to one per house lot, I don't think that's really waiving it, it's just reducing the number that's necessary, so, I mean, like,
And the trees are on the private property. They're not within the right of way. And, we could plant these trees, have the road accepted, and they'll chop them down if they don't want it.
Well,
You know,
again, any number of varieties in terms of trees. As a matter of fact, I think at the back of this document, the rules and regulations, there's a number that are listed in there. Some of it, we're not talking planting a redwood or a sequoia or something necessarily.
You got anybody down there who's really pro-tree? Maybe if you just put all 21 trees on their lot?
Mr. Wittroba, always looking for the good, the happy side of the issue. Thank you.
All right.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Oh, and
All right.
Stay warm.
the road you guys dug up on the top, are you guys gonna fix that trench? I know there was a discussion on that
which,
last time. The water line
I'm not sure where.
at the top of the road.
Oh, you mean where they stretched for the line?
Yeah,
Oh.
I think he said he was gonna fix that a little. I think that.
Why did it?
down.
Because it's sunk in?
Yeah.
I thought the plan was for it to winter over,
Yeah.
but that would be this winter, right? So
Yeah, I think so.
that would be in the spring?
Yep, so I'll
retouch
make
it
sure
up.
we get that
Okay,
touched up as well.
all right. Great.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Okay,
All I
great.
can think of.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Paula Lane and Circle Drive. We have anything new there?
Is it in order, Mr. Chairman, that we grant a lot release for 14 Paula Lane?
Well, based on our discussion last month and the previous couple months, I've been following things. It's a weird situation where I think we kind of agree that we can't find anything saying that Lot 14 was ever officially released. But we have the meeting minutes that clearly show that at the meeting way back when, they had released the surety for the project, and they wanted a drainage easement on Lot 14 before they would release Lot 14.
Back to 2004, they were
Exactly. And then we found, I think it was the November meeting, I said that we found in that binder the drainage easement recorded in 2005. So at this point, I figure the worst case scenario is if we release the lot tonight and it was already released, we're doing something redundant that's not going to have any effect.
The highway superintendent at our last selectmen's meeting was gonna go check and see if that drainage system was installed in that lot.
That was at the January 12th meeting?
Yeah,
I watched that meeting. I didn't see him say anything about that.
I think it was that one or the one before, when Mr. Durgan spoke about that. He was supposed
At the
to go
selectmen's
down
meeting?
there.
Would have
Yep,
been December, I think.
yeah, all right.
Oh, I said that's the meeting where Mr. Durgan got up and he spoke before the selectmen.
That's
And
right.
he said at the last planning board meeting,
Yes, you said
Steve
something.
Wetruba presented an easement, and that confused the heck out of the highway department superintendent and the selectmen
No,
because
you said
the way
Sullivan okayed it.
the way that David stated it, though, he didn't identify me as a member of the planning board. He made it almost sound like I just walked into your planning board meeting as a resident and said, hey, here's an easement I want to present. And I didn't present it, I found it. And it was in the binder for Paul Lane Circle Drive the whole time.
Yes, but it was never
Well, actually,
solved.
technically, Braden found it and brought it to my attention.
Yeah, they found the blueprints, and they were looking at the blueprints, and there's three catch basin tops on that property that have to be there, and they can't locate any of them for that
Who was
drainage
looking at the
system.
blueprints?
We were looking at the blueprints. We found the blueprints for that drainage.
Yeah, Mr. Durgan
Yes.
submitted a set of plans.
Oh, that's the thing. Okay, so we're going to talk about that later in the meeting because I want to discuss that also.
But you have the guy's not here to ask for a lot release. You got a candidate here for a lot release? Do
He wanted a lot. He obviously wanted a lot release.
you have any paperwork on a lot release?
Yeah, there's a request in here somewhere from
But then
Conrad Allen.
Nelson told me he's pulling out of that.
Well, all I know is,
A lot of things been said, but we don't have much evidence of anything.
Mr. Clark, if,
Yeah, well, that's
if you
the
want to
whole
make a
point.
motion, I think the board should make the decision on whether or not we decide it because, quite frankly, it gets it off our plate.
Yes, that
Yeah,
does.
but it's
happen.
not
I
on your
said-
plate. It's not on the agenda either.
Oh, it's
for a lot
it's-
release,
It's
so-
standard
under,
business.
it's under standard business, Paul Lane and
Not a
Circle
lot
Drive.
release, though. It should have said lot release. Though.
Well, there wasn't anything about trees either for
Right.
Lions Estates.
Yeah, but you called that in here, and we didn't release them. We didn't okay anything for them. I don't understand how you can just release a lot.
Well,
with no representative.
Here's a Form J and here's certificate of completion and release of municipal interest in subdivision security. This is going back to October 2004, and this was submitted by Conrad Allen, I believe.
Yeah.
So there had been attempts to do something with that.
So we would be effectively acting on that request,
Right.
not a new request.
yeah.
That request.
But it's not on your agenda.
It's under standard business. What do you think, Mr. Horn? You've got more
When we
experience than any of
release
us.
a law, and it's always on the agenda. This law gets released, that law gets released. I don't understand how you can just say, oh, let's release this now.
Well,
Well, I guess the
pleasure of the
definition
board.
of standard business then, what do we consider standard business? A lot release certainly isn't anything other than unusual or unique by any stretch of the imagination. It's construction, discussion of, finishing, construction of, and acceptance of, and completed, unaccepted subdivision streets, including.
Yeah, discussion.
It's discussion / status. Okay, I think we are,
acceptance of,
we do have the power to accept, we do have the power to change status. Mr. Horn, do we have precedence for this?
I mean, my recollection of all this is, like I said before, Mr. Allen had jumped through all the hoops that he was asked to do. I remember the developer, of the contractor that did the drainage coming in and talking to us and telling us what he did. And
Yeah, but he's still short on frontage too.
it never got accepted.
that's a
by the
different
town.
issue, though. That has nothing to do with this board. You're bringing up other issues that have nothing to do with this board, and that's
Yeah, I
the...
don't have a
that's-
plan, I don't have a lot release. on
That's the
agenda,
argument
I
that
don't
I've been
have
making
nothing
right
here.
along. This, if there's a problem between the
Yeah.
two developers, which, by the way, I have to say, you're not recusing yourself again.
I don't know an Eagle Drive in Fairview Ave.
Your family does.
Yeah. I can still discuss it as a board member, I just can't vote
can-
on
We
it.
can discuss it as a resident.
Right, but you should be
Yes.
doing it from there, really.
Not as a
We've
board
had this
member.
discussion.
Uh,
Yeah, I'll even sign in for you.
I mean, I signed off on the Form J back in 2004. It said everything to my recollection was,
Yeah, but there was a court order on that hasn't been signed off by the judge. That's why the planning board kept it until that court order was lifted.
I mean, the last thing that we got is the letter from Mr. Wright that said, at last night's meeting, the planning board made a motion to pay you the escrow amount of $18,020.82. I will be submitting this to the accountant on Monday, December 13th, 2004. Also, at last night's meeting, the planning board requested that you put in place a drainage easement for the two pods located on lot 14 at the corner of Powell Lane and Fairview Ave. After the completion of this drainage easement, the planning board will release lot number 14 from the covenant.
Yeah, where's the drainage pods, though?
There's an easement showing where they are.
Yeah, they're not installed.
And it's filed at the Registry of Deeds, and it's signed by, I believe...
They're not
Mr.
installed. Again, they're not installed.
That's been, all due respect, Mr. Chinaki,
All
that's been
due
your
respect.
contention from the beginning.
You got
We acknowledge that.
two concrete, I think there's 3 of them, in the ground.
So you're saying they are there?
And they have to have concrete covers on them on top of finished grade. If that guy ripping down the trees, he would have ripped those covers right off of that. So there is no drainage installed there. The lot was cleared. If the guy ripped them out, he would have ripped out those covers. You guys are voting on something that he never did.
I don't think we're voting on whether there's drainage there or not. I think we're voting on whether the lot's gonna be released.
Yeah, but you can't release the lot until the drainage is complete. It says it right there.
We have an easement that says it is
Well, you
complete.
can do whatever you want. We'll see you in court.
All right, let's, we move the motion.
Okay, so you reword the you.
Well, my
However you wanna word
motion
the
would be to
motion.
release the lot number 14 at Paul Lane.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Oh,
Just
3.
remember, it's not on the agenda and there's no paperwork.
One recused themselves.
There's no custody.
1 recusal. Okay, does anybody want to make a motion, now that this is no longer a planning board issue? Do we want to keep this on the agenda?
No. I would move that it be removed from standard business going forward.
Okay, we have a motion to remove Paul Lane to Circle Drive from standard business for the Dudley Planning Board. Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Same vote. Okay, last in standard business, Sophie's Way.
Is there someone here to speak to Sophie's Way?
I recognize a resident from Sophie's Way. If you have anything you'd like to talk about, I can recuse myself.
You're purely as a spectator.
Spectator, okay, all right.
You
Hey,
would
we're like
have to-
spectators.
We still have the open issue in terms of some amount of funds, I believe, Mr. Chairman, and I know you'll have to recuse yourself.
Yeah.
But I don't recall the $4,000 or something in excess of $4,000. I don't remember the exact amount.
The vote was a tie, so it went nowheres.
Right, it went nowhere, but we could act upon it again. I mean, vote was a tie at the last meeting, but not necessarily at this meeting.
I'm going to recuse myself at
Right.
this time because I don't want to.
We don't, Mr. Horn, you're going to take the dais and be acting chair?
That's a good question. Who's,
Mr.
our vice chair is absent.
Is absent.
We didn't have a clerk to the board?
Nobody would do it. Nobody, remember? I don't know, you probably don't remember that night, but
Yeah.
no one would step up and take it because, well,
You have to write minutes.
yeah, I think that's what it came down to.
When I wasn't here.
We didn't have a clerk yet. Nobody wanted to write minutes.
I don't blame him.
I know, it's,
It's a thankless task, actually.
Do we have the paperwork for that in our binders?
do we still have the paperwork from last month?
No, you do not.
Okay. I think that kind of
All right, well,
puts a stop to that.
pass on that one. Okay, to be continued.
Okay. All right, so nothing else regarding that. We're on to inspections and actions associated with site plans. First on the list, we have Legacy Landing Country Club Acres. We still don't have anything from Graves regarding that, right? That's what we're waiting for, I think?
I did bump into Jeff Walsh last week, and he said in the next 2 to 3 weeks, he would have that report finished.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so that puts a pin in that. SEP Solar, Oxford Ave. Well, there's nothing really going on.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, sure.
we did get a legal opinion though from our town council on that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Forgot about that.
Is that in our, that's not in our binder?
I think I'll grab it if you'd like. If it's not in your binder, but I can grab it.
I tell you what, why don't I move on, if there's no objection, I'll move on and we'll come back to that before we adjourn. And then you run down the hall and,
Because I think it might be good if you read it into record.
okay.
Maybe not all of it, but just kind of give the highlights.
Yeah, there's a lot in
It
there.
was a lot of, it was like a 7-page letter.
Okay. So, but actually we need Braden here for a couple of things coming up anyways, so why don't we, well, we'll just move on and we'll do this at the end of the evening.
Okay.
Okay, where was I? SEP Solar, Oxford Ave. We've got nothing going on up there right now this time of year, so.
What is it that remains to be done with that? Is it?
It was just, what was
It
it,
was a fence
looming
line,
and
wasn't it?
seeding, I thought?
Something?
No, I thought the fence thing, I thought the fence
fencing
issue was
was resolved.
resolved.
Fencing was resolved.
Yeah.
I thought they already got certification. I think they're all set.
I don't know if it's running or not.
It is running.
I was surprised to find out that the landfill was running, so.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I was kind of surprised
That's
about
because it's
that.
supposed to go on Open Gov, and then we're supposed to sign off on Open Gov.
You know what it reminds
At
me
the
of?
sub-development, same with our subdevelopments and rules.
It reminds me of the
regulations.
Dudley Housing Authority situation up there,
Yeah.
where they went and got certification from the state that their project was done of redoing the
Yeah,
parking
and
lot. And they
I-
said,
I-
well, we're certified it's
I-
done, and we
I talked to
never.
another building inspector. He says that we should be signing off on Open Gov as a chairman of the planning board. that
Really?
Sub-development rules and regulations are completed. And it should be listed in that, on each lot, sub-development rules and regulations.
So who's signing-
The building inspector would know that there's rules and regulations and stipulations on each property.
So who's signing in place of the chair?
As far as I'm aware,
Huh?
there is no planning account for OpenGov, so there
Yeah,
is.
there's a list on there. Because when I went for final occupancy, he had to make sure that the subdevelopment rules and regulations were all set and signed off before he would issue me final occupancy. That's how I figured this out.
So if we created an account on there, could we then see these projects?
That would be a question.
You can see on anything on OpenGov. You just can't
No,
sign off anything.
that's what I want. I want access to what you
You should
expect me
have-
to sign.
You should have access to that, because I was talking to Neil, and he showed me how to work that too. He can write in comments, so you can see the building inspector's comments, everybody's
Well,
comments.
the only way
but
I
you
can see
can't
if I have
change it.
access to sign something would be if we had an account.
It's your town email and it's your town password should get you into that.
Really?
Yeah, all of us. Anybody in town has MassGov email.
What do you use the
Should be able to
password
log-
for?
To log in. He ran it through me, because I never did it before either.
I never use a password. Every time I open up my
It's
email
on
account,
Mass
it's just,
OpenGov, so you can see the comments from other inspectors, you know?
Yeah.
Public can only see so much. They can just see open
I'm saying if
permit.
you put a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you what my password was right now.
Me neither.
Because I only look at email, I don't go,
Yeah,
so,
but yeah, the building inspector would see what the planning board's rules and regulations on each lot in the subdevelopment would be. And then he would report back to us that this was taken care of, and then chairman would sign off on
so
OpenGov.
Bill Scanlon probably did that for us in the past.
Yeah, I
I'm
would think so.
assuming. Okay. Well, that was wonderful. Stevens Linen Mill, I guess they finished the roof and they've got it weather tight, and I don't know what's going on there.
Waiting for spring?
Seem to be anything going on right now.
How about
Right.
the other property they were supposed to purchase?
I have no idea, I'm not,
Which property was that?
Mhm.
They're on
The
agenda
daycare.
for conservation.
Daycare? I mean,
Whatever's behind that.
no, they were looking to get an
That
agreement.
second exit.
Yeah, and they were looking to get an agreement so they could use that lot or access through the driveway for,
And the second exit.
what is that thing called? Help me
I can't
with
think
that.
of it.
Tri-State?
On Mill Street.
Yeah, Tri-State.
Tri-State, yeah.
Tri-State Health Services, yeah.
And they had some kind of an agreement.
What did you just say? I'm sorry.
They're on the agenda for conservation next month. They finally have responded to DEP's comments.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
that's right,
okay.
yeah.
Stevens Linen Mill?
Yes.
Yeah, it had been, they kept pushing it because they didn't have, originally it was, they didn't even have a DEP file number yet, right?
Yeah, that took a while, as they always do.
Yep.
And then, now they finally have figured out their response to DEP.
Okay,
Okay.
so when's that next meeting?
Actually, that'll be next Wednesday, the 28th.
Okay.
Although I think they may have requested to be on the February meeting.
Actually, you guys had to scratch your last meeting, right?
Correct.
Okay, so, anybody's interested in what that's all about regarding the Stevens Linen Mill, they can go to the conservation, because we've got no new news here. All the news fit to print. Solar project at the landfill, we just talked about that. Same situation, it's up and running.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask that we maybe ask Braden to send an email or a text to the Board of Selectmen to find out if that solar farm is currently up and running, and if it is, we could take it off of our agenda, that we wouldn't have to keep talking about it if it's up and running.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
That's-
landfill's up and running too, so.
That sounds like a good idea.
And then, we already had information from the Dudley Housing Authority saying that.
Yeah, I thought we
that's
voted
all.
I
to
don't know,
take that
why is
off.
that still on here,
Yeah,
Braden?
we could,
I could have sworn I took it off.
Okay, because, yeah, we talked about that last month.
Yeah.
vote to take that one off?
Yeah, we voted to take that off. I
We
thought.
did.
Okay.
That one should be, that one definitely should be scratched.
Sorry about that.
But if we can get confirmation on the landfill is up and running, then we can.
Why,
take
you?
that one off, too.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll reach out.
Okay. Then we're on to the accessory dwelling unit bylaw. So, Braden brought to my attention some language in the draft that seemed confusing or contradictory. So, last I spoke with Braden about it, he was going to reach out to Ms. Warwick?
Yeah, Jane.
Jane.
Wyrick.
Jane Wyrick, and ask her if she could clarify whether or not this was a typo, a miswording, or if not, to explain it better. So is that in our packet?
The bylaw, the proposed bylaw is in your packet. I
Okay.
reached out to Jane twice, no response.
Okay, so we're gonna have to, and you're trying her through her email?
Yes. I don't know that I have a phone.
All right, so we're gonna have to go back to CMRPC and find out who it was that kind of, I remember when we initially heard that she had left the state, was working remotely, there was somebody else at CMRPC. You're gonna have to go through those emails, find his name,
Yeah.
reach out to him and say, what's up? I've been trying to get a hold of Jane because we've got this situation where we wanted to set a public hearing, but let me see if I can find it. What tab's it under?
It should be under standard business.
Right behind following.
Oh, okay.
Where was the confusion you were talking about? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and find it right now.
If you'd like, I could get onto a mic and speak.
Yeah. Because I have all Paul Lane Circle Drive stuff.
No, none of the-
I don't have any of the,
Don't have it?
although I got Lions in the front.
It's actually.
It's in the
right-
middle.
Oh, here it is, it's in the middle. I got it. Density regulations. Do you remember what page it was, or?
It's scattered throughout, so there's a
Throughout.
couple of different
So
pages in
There's
question.
several issues here?
It's one issue that happens on a couple of different pages. You'll see in there, it talks about protected use ADU, which is the one that's regulated by the state.
Yep.
That one, it says, has a square footage cap of 900 square feet, or half the gross floor area of the primary dwelling.
Oh, yeah, so, yeah, protected use ADU, an attached, detached, or internal ADU that is located or is proposed to be located on a lot in a single-family residential zone and is not larger in gross floor area than half the gross floor area of the principal dwelling, or 900 square feet, whichever is smaller. And then in parentheses it says, or a larger gross floor area if allowed by the municipality, providing that only one ADU on a lot may qualify as a protected use ADU. An ADU that is non-conforming to zoning shall still qualify as a protected use ADU if otherwise meets this decision. So it was the thing about the not larger in gross floor area than half the gross floor area of the principal dwelling, or 900 square feet, whichever is smaller.
Right, and
That's-
that by itself was
that-
not the problem, because that's
that's
the state
clear.
regulation.
Yeah,
What
that
was-
that was a
So
state law.
the issue is, I think it's on the next page, or maybe 2 pages after.
There was
It talks
something
about local
contradictory,
use
yeah.
ADU. And for that one, it says that it has a minimum gross floor area requirement of 900 square feet and a maximum of 1,200 square feet. So I thought that was a little
Where was that?
odd. It should be on the next page where it talks about local use ADUs.
I was under local use ADUs there. Oh, that was actually, I'm in definitions there. So let me go into the main part here. Dimensional standards, site plan reviews, administration.
Pages and numbers, that would have helped a little bit.
Let's see, filing.
Dimensional standards?
Special permit and site plan review for multiple ADUs on a lot.
Including one.
No one's saying anything over 900 square feet requires a special permit.
Yeah, that's not it.
You want me to find it for you?
Yeah, we're not.
Under
We're not-
dimensional standards, there's a 900 square feet.
I know what it looks like.
Square feet plus a floor
here.
plan.
Okay, under
Where are
dimensional
we?
standards, local ADUs must be larger than 900 square feet. Must be larger than 900 square feet. That doesn't make any sense. We just got done saying throughout the whole document here that you can't be any larger than half of the gross floor area of the primary residence or 900 square feet. And then we go here and we say that it must be larger than 900 square feet. That's got to be a typo, right?
No.
What page are we on here?
You got like a 1,200 square foot house and you got that down
think
to
it's-
600 feet, then you're not in building code. I think building code's like 900 square
I think it's because
foot.
she's got it under the special permits for local ADUs. So if you're gonna go through a special permit, you can go bigger than 900 square feet. If you,
Well, you can't just-
if you're under 900 square feet, you don't need a special permit. If you're over 900 square feet, you need a special permit.
That's for the primary, though.
No, I think the minimum living area is 900 square feet.
Or anything?
Yeah.
Well, then
I think that's how they
the
came up
protected
with
use
that number.
ADU would have a problem then, because that.
What's
has
that?
The protected use ADU would have a problem then, because that one is a cap at 900 square feet.
Well, 900 and up?
Yeah,
900 and up
up.
is what he's saying. He's saying the
Yeah.
building code requires a minimum of 900 square feet.
I believe it's 900 square
Must be
feet.
larger than
Okay.
that.
You have to have a living area of 900 square feet.
On the one that you get by right from the law of the state, the way I understand it is what we read the first time. You get up to
Minimum.
900 square feet maximum, or half
Your
of
floor plan.
half of what your original house is, whichever is smaller. So if you have a 2,000 square foot house, you'd get the 900 square foot.
Yeah, you get 1,000 square feet.
So a local
Not even 900,
ADU
'cause that's
has to
small.
be a minimum of 900 square feet and less than 1,200, because the next thing is B, it says local ADU shall not be larger than a gross floor area of
Yeah.
1,200 square feet.
Right.
So between 9 and 12.
Yeah, and I think we agreed that we would cap it at that. Because, once you get beyond 1,200 square feet, I mean, there's a lot of single-family homes in Dudley
Right.
that are less than
Okay.
1,200 square feet.
All right,
Well, if you took 1,000 square foot house and tried cutting it in half, you would have a closet.
so then we can go with it the way it is.
Yeah,
Okay?
sounds good to me.
That's how I read it. And
Okay. That'll be it.
Brady used a Jedi mind trick on me. There's a problem here, Mr. Chairman.
It could be, I mean, new bylaws are always confusing until we do them a couple
Well,
of times.
it's going to be reviewed by the Attorney General anyway,
That's right.
so it's,
If it's out of order, they'll let us know.
they'll let us know.
Okay.
And by the time they get this one, they will have seen a bunch of them already.
Right.
All right. Planner's plate. So at this time, since we don't have a town planner, we usually say, hey, Braden, you want to tell us anything that's going on that's really exciting in town, planning-wise?
Actually, the town did submit a grant, the Complete Streets grant. I'm not sure if they've been awarded that or how any of that really works at the end of the day. But the purpose of it is to build a sidewalk that'll be around the area of Nichols College, and it'll extend towards Shepherd Hill.
Exactly what we talked about when we originally did Complete Streets years ago.
Once upon a time.
Yeah.
Of course, the town administrator has deep sixed the Complete Streets Committee, so I guess we're no longer part of the conversation.
yeah, I thought they took that away from us.
Was that inclusive of the road, the cemetery on Center Road?
It'll be on the opposite side of the cemetery.
And you're going to get the kiddies across the road?
There'll be several crosswalks, is my understanding.
Well, you got that intersection
took-
right there, too.
We also talked about, it's a nightmare to try and put the sidewalk. Can you imagine the
I know,
cost of the
the
retaining
cemetery.
wall you would have to construct? And you would immediately have people upset that you were taking the majestic original old stone wall down to put up a modern retaining wall.
I think
to
at
hold
one
that
point,
down.
Mr. Chairman, I made a suggestion that maybe they go around the back of the cemetery, and then come up behind what is the oldest house in Dudley, and connect to the sidewalk that's already existing.
Existing
on that
sidewalk,
side.
yeah.
And skip that entire entity.
Yeah, I don't know
And
what-
So you don't need crosswalks to get the kiddies across the road, because believe me, a lot of people look
Yeah.
at the stop signs that are in place at Ramshorn Road as optional.
Maybe it has something to do with that it's the Complete Streets grant, so maybe they wouldn't allow us to do
There's also safe schools.
cross,
too.
because that would be a cross-country sidewalk or
But there's
trail.
also safe schools, so you might have been able to tie the two together to some extent. I'm not sure whether that worked or not. But it is good that something's happening with that. I hope that somehow that does do something with the appearance in front of the cemetery and get those two ugly mini Jersey barriers out of there. Because those are eyesores, to say, the fact that now entering the Dudley Historic District, and there were those two stupid orange things sitting there telling you to stay off the sidewalk. Was
Yeah,
it inclusive of anything with that? Do you recall?
Well,
That I'm not.
They move it to
I do
across
know
the
that-
street, they'll just rip it out.
When it gets to the
Put a slope in there.
design stage,
Yeah.
that would be a perfect time to find out whether or
Yeah.
not they're gonna be addressing that, cleaning that up, removing the old sidewalk so that nobody's using it.
Yeah, if they
Yeah,
remove
do
the old
something.
sidewalk, they're gonna fix it, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, no, put a wall up or do something to it. You just gotta, you gotta make it look better than it is now.
Bloom and seed that area or something.
Anything would make it look better than it is now.
Yep.
So let me get this, if I may, go back to you, Braden. This was approved by the Complete Streets Committee or the Complete Streets, what?
Committee of
As
one.
far as I'm aware, yeah.
Mr. Rubin. All right, and that, and it's going to, design by who?
That I-
Ty and
I'm not
Bond,
aware of
who else does it?
Yeah.
Who?
Ty and Bond, probably.
Yeah, we tie ourselves to those guys for everything.
Yeah.
They're the only engineers in town.
I don't know, maybe they fill people's pockets, I don't know.
Well, I don't like to make that kind of an accusation without
That may be a
knowing.
bit of a stretch, but on
My
the other
understanding
hand,
was that they did all the reason why Italian Bond did the Mason Road project was because
already
they
had
had
a
already
plan.
done all the engineering
Yeah.
for the sewer
and
line.
it was easy.
Yeah.
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 And they
But
basically said, hey, we'll do that for free. Give us the gig.
Nobody
Yeah.
does anything for free.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I just smart business decision.
Tigan Bond is the engineer of record, and I think that, I don't remember the last time anybody had put any of these things out to bid. It looks like
Yeah.
Tigan Bond gets your stamp, no matter where they want it.
Legally, I think they have to post 3 bids to the public.
Well,
Yeah.
where do you see those though?
I'll have to look that up on State
All
Attorney
right, I think
General's
I
office.
think you're right, and that there should be
Yeah.
some, but
Just like any town legalized contract with solar
Yeah,
fields,
and-
everything has to be posted publicly.
forgive my skepticism, maybe they are the best show in town and always the cheapest, but theirs is the name of record. So that's moving forward, and that's going to connect to, because there is an existing sidewalk to some extent up as you go around the intersection.
My understanding is that it'll be on the opposite side of the road of any sidewalk that's currently there.
Really?
That's my understanding of it. I could be wrong.
We'll have to see.
Well, they probably would put a crosswalk up at the intersection of Ramshorn Road, and that way you could cross over to the
Existing sidewalk.
Well, the existing sidewalk doesn't go up that far, I don't think. I don't think
Yeah,
it makes it
pretty
up
much,
there.
it goes a pretty good distance. I think it goes up actually to the entrance.
You know,
of
I think
the-
it's so overgrown that that's why.
Well, it may be, but
Might not
I mean,
notice it.
I haven't driven that
I
way in
grant
a
you
long
it is.
time,
It's
so-
not in the best of shape, but it is something that is there that you can build on, as opposed to starting from whole cloth and you've
Yeah.
got some water issues.
But as far as how
on the
far it's
outside.
gonna go, who knows? When do they run out of money?
All
I
right.
mean, well, case
Well-
in point, we did
50
Mason Road, right? We got
Yeah, that
that.
stopped nowhere.
Well, no, that,
But to paraphrase you, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Some is better than none.
Take
So we
the-
have some sidewalk on Mason Road, and I'll tell you what, on any given day when it's nice out, go down Mason Road and see how many people are using that sidewalk that are no longer walking in the street.
good for
Yeah.
that. No, that was the intent. If we're down to paraphrasing me, we maybe should just give it up.
Okay, let's
But,
move on.
All right, planner's plate. Anything else, Braden?
That'll be all for me.
All right.
All right. Okay, comments from the planning board. I'll let everybody else go first before I get to mine. Does anybody have anything?
I do. I was able to sit in at a CMRPC meeting of sorts, if you will, on the 18th of December, and as a result of that meeting, we were awarded $10,000 for a matching grant for promotion of our master plan. I expected I would hear mention of that at the January 12th meeting of the Board of Selectmen, but I don't recall hearing that brought up. I'm not sure where that stands right now, but there is $10,000 on the table. Again, it's a matching grant, so we'd be looking for a similar amount from the town.
I
don't know if
think the
the-
assistant town administrator mentioned something to me and Braden about that, right?
The assistant town administrator was
Yeah.
to have been a part of that meeting, but wasn't
Right.
able to attend. I was asked to stand in for.
Okay.
Well, I was, I,
But just as recently as last night, I did tell her it was very important, CMRPC, that we get a lot out of it,
Yep.
especially thanks to you, Mr. Clark, for attending those meetings. For the public who isn't aware, the way it works is Mr. Clark goes and attends these CMRPC meetings as our delegate for the town of Dudley, and in exchange, the CMRPC rewards us by letting us bank hours, and when we get to a point where we have enough hours, we can actually apply those hours towards having things done in town. Research towards certain projects, things that normally we don't have anything in our budget for. So that's why tireless volunteers like Mr. Clark giving their time, going to these meetings.
The lights just got brighter.
You get a free meal anyways?
The quarterly meetings.
Good grub?
Yeah, they feed you pretty well.
They feed you better at the school committee meetings, don't they?
You hit home on that one.
Yeah.
But I guess my concern is that with budget season upon us, and Mr. Rudo's looking to get departmental budgets and start meetings
It's going to
with
be
the
funded.
FAA.
To answer your question,
With
that
this-
is, I was told that last night by the assistant
It's gonna
town
be what?
administrator. CMRPC, our kitty.
Yeah, but I mean, where all these other things fit in terms of, budget tends to rule the day in Dudley when it comes to crunching
Doesn't
the
it, though?
numbers. Yes, it
Funny
does.
how that happens.
So I don't know where
It
this.
does in my house, too.
Yeah.
Where the master plan sits in terms of that money and whether we have $10,000 to match in terms of going forward with that. But I guess that will have to be addressed eventually by the town administrator at some point.
Yeah, my understanding is that they are going to.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
All right. So, anybody else have anything that they want to
Cell
add?
phone towers up. You hear from our cell phone people?
I have not heard anything.
Well, it's up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Don't know if Schofield.
You're getting
Yeah.
more?
The Diamond
It's been up for like 3 weeks. I watched them put it up.
Fantastic.
Does anybody have Verizon? Are they getting more bars?
I don't think they put the boxes on top
Oh,
yet.
it's not,
The pole's up and everything.
Are we
The
in-
concrete's all in.
it's
I was
monopole.
surprised.
Probably, once they put the foundation up, it's probably pretty quick.
Yeah.
Where do we stand in terms of a planner? We've been looking many months for a planner.
So, yeah, okay. Yeah, we can talk about that now and then we'll get to what I wanted to talk about. So, regarding town planner, we had another individual who came in for a second interview. I was invited as a courtesy to attend. As you are well aware, we are in a two-town intermunicipal agreement with the town of Blackstone, so we will be sharing the planner. So it's pretty much, it's their hire, so they're doing the vetting, and we get half of the hours.
Okay.
He's
Half of the hour.
going to still be subject to probationary period. We'll still have input regarding that. The reason why I'm making this point, and I can see the look on your face, it's going to be a problem for me, is because why don't we have a whole committee? Why isn't the whole planning board involved in vetting this guy and
that's all
everything? Well, because neither is the town of Blackstone's entire planning board. So, in the end, the final hiring decision is actually going to be made by Blackstone. But they wanted our input, what we thought. So,
Well, are we paying by the hour? They're gonna give us like 10 hours a week?
no,
and
no,
we're
it's
gonna get the rest?
it's salary, and I guess we split the
50-50?
hours.
You mentioned the
It's gonna be
second interview. Are we
50-50?
moving forward with this candidate, or is that?
It's the same, somewhere in your emails, way back when, they sent us the intermunicipal agreement for the last
Yeah.
deal we were gonna do with Spencer.
Spencer.
It's essentially, it's the same structure. Difference is now we're doing it with Blackstone. Actually, Blackstone sent us one back, I wanna say early in 2025, when we first decided to go into it with Blackstone. But we gotta get that updated just because of the dates and everything. Because at that time, I think we had somebody we were hoping we were gonna get, and it didn't work
Yeah,
out.
One time there was.
Yeah. So that's where we stand with the planner.
So do we know what the status is on this gentleman? Is he gonna get hired, or?
They're vetting him right now. I talked to Olivia today. I said, if you had to give me a timeline, she said, we would have to put the offer together and make sure he accepts it after we're done vetting him. They're letting him know that we're still checking his references so that he knows that we're a good possibility for employment. So he's not going to hopefully take a job somewhere else before we can. Yeah, I hate to sound desperate, but the reality is it's that difficult to get a planner.
Right. Auburn's got an open position right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought Webster just hired one.
Yeah.
Millbury has a position. Remember Eve Tapper?
Yeah.
Eve Tapper is currently covering Millbury as town planner because Millbury is looking for a town planner full-time, and I believe they even have an assistant planner position open. So, anywho, that's where we stand with that. So to answer your question, we might have a town planner by March, which would be great, because we've got somebody who's floating the idea of a special permit, but they haven't made an official application yet, but I know it's coming down the pike, so we'll have more information probably by next meeting
Okay,
on that.
thank you.
So that's that. So the thing I wanted to talk about was, one of our members brought in some documentation, and he brought it to Braden, and he requested that it be put into the file for one of the subdivisions that we had been discussing. And Braden asked me what the protocol was regarding this. And I felt that, in my opinion, it shouldn't be a situation where anybody can just bring in a document that we don't know where it came from or anything about, and bring it to Braden and say, go put it in the official files in the planner's office. You know, we have the binders and the file cabinets and everything for different subdivisions and everything. I mean, you wouldn't like it if somebody came and put something in if you owned a subdivision in town.
Well, didn't he just say the same thing on Paul Lane, that the guy submitted a letter saying it was done? Well, where are the as-bills and all the other paperwork? Letter don't mean nothing, so I agree
You're
with
talking-
you.
You're talking about a lack of documentation. I'm talking about a document that is surfaced.
Said that, they had
We have copies.
a letter, yeah.
The stuff that's
So
in
where's
these-
the as-bill?
The stuff that's in
Where
these
did it come
binders,
from?
though.
I understand what you're saying,
It's
I'm
in
going
there.
with you.
It's in
Don't
there.
add shit to the file unless you have,
Right now.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the as-bills, where's this? You gotta have a lot of documentation.
So, I believe Braden also got a second opinion in town regarding what to do with that.
Correct, yeah.
And you were basically told the same, you were basically told what, to come, bring it back to me, right?
Yeah, and also that the board members should not submit documentation to a folder that, you know, the developer hasn't submitted that documentation.
Right. So the only documentation that Braden accepts without our approval would be applications, like, you know, if it's one of our official forms and somebody fills out a form for, I want to do this, and they bring it in.
Or
Yeah,
if
with a
the
check.
developer or his engineer comes in,
Right,
brings
right.
documents.
Official, right, exactly. So, so I don't know what, so the only question I have now is, what should we do with this? Should we give it back to the board member and say, you know, if you really feel that strongly about putting this in the file, bring it before the planning board and let us decide?
or have the developer bring it.
It should be, I think it should be brought before us.
Well-
As Mr. Horn mentioned, those other documents, those are things that eventually would come before us at some point. So I think it's only in keeping with that thought that we ask that these be
So,
public record.
give it back to who gave it to you, and tell them if it's something that has to do with that development, it should be submitted by the developer, or the developer's representation, engineer, lawyer, something.
Well, you can always submit any paperwork as long as it's in front of us.
You could.
I submit paperwork to Lori Smith, and she takes it, she just doesn't release it until legalized counsel okays it.
So let him take that route if he wants, I guess. Bring it to the clerk and say, here,
Yeah?
submit it that way.
Well, if it's planning board, she's just gonna tell you, go
What
talk to
I'm-
the planning board.
What I'm
You
saying
know
is,
what I mean?
we want to make the policy clear, if it wasn't already
Yeah,
clear,
come
that
put
we
it
don't
on
want to just
record.
walk up to our clerk and hand him something and say,
Yeah, don't put fake letters in, like, you guys just voted on Paul Lane.
yeah.
You know what I mean? No, that's what you did.
Well, those letters.
I agree.
Those letters
Wait.
there were in the file.
Yeah, I know, but who knows where they came from?
I think they're dated and signed, as far as I
Yeah,
recall, so.
they're all messed up dated, though. You actually said that one time yourself, so.
Yeah, I know.
If you look at the dates.
As
it is-
boring as they are, I rewatched those meetings to
Yeah.
hear what Mr. Durgan said, to make sure I was clear, because it was like, okay, it was a pod, then it was a pond, then it was a pod. It was, no, they're not there. Then it was, no, there's no easement. Then it was, oh, well, I didn't find the easement because I wasn't looking for an easement.
That was-
I went through that, and then I saw the part. The reason why the dates were wrong was because what had happened
Oh, because
was
somebody
Nancy
threw it into a
Runkle.
file cabinet.
Excuse me.
No, you weren't here.
Excuse me.
Go ahead, talk.
Nancy Runkle, acting town planner at the time, or actually town planner at the time, She had found the drainage easement, and she thought that it was the easement regarding access, the access easement.
Well,
And that's why it had a cover letter from an attorney, because
Doesn't
Nancy
have
Runkle
access.
basically dug up the old 2005 easement for drainage, sent it over to the attorney for his opinion on, is this the easement that you guys are looking for? And he basically said, no, that's not it. And that's what stopped the whole betterment
He
thing.
needs an easement just to get onto that property.
I don't care, but I'm just saying
Mr.
this.
Chairman, if we may, I think we want to move on to the next
Oh.
agenda item.
Oh,
yeah?
no, hold on.
Yes.
Oh, one more question. Hill Street Bridge.
Oh,
I know we
I-
got money,
I have
and
no-
whatever happened with that?
Somebody just
Temporary
asked me
bridge.
about that yesterday, if I knew anything
Yeah,
about that.
somebody asked me the other day too, how come we, it
It was approved by conservation.
was?
I don't know the status of it. No, I think it's Ty and Bond's doing the work there.
Oh,
That's a familiar name. This is, everyone should probably keep in mind, this is a temporary bridge. This is a temporary
Yeah.
fix. We are light years away from a permanent fix, so don't let anybody
well,
hold
that's
your
nothing,
breath.
Mr. Clark. It's not even the main bridge. It's a bridge to the bridge.
Bridge.
It's a bridge over a swampy area before the bridge.
Technically can't even call it a bridge, it's called a mill race.
There you go. Right.
So it will not provide complete access? You won't be able to get it?
No. It will. What I'm saying is, a lot of people, when they think that the bridge isn't safe,
Yeah.
they think of the actual main bridge over the French
Yeah.
River.
Yeah, it's the
That's
other
actually
bridge.
not
Not in
what the
question.
issue is. It's to get to that bridge, you have to cross a smaller bridge on our side.
That's where our
that goes
temporary-
across the wetlands and swamp area.
Okay.
That's the bridge that's unsafe.
They put a concrete culvert in there, backfill
Yeah,
the
it
whole
should
thing.
be,
Maybe,
How stupid can you be?
maybe.
well, in any event, the temporary bridge is still coming, but we don't know when, right?
Okay. All right. Comments from the audience. Well, we have a big crowd here. Does anybody have anything they'd like to comment on? Or, all right. Thank you. Thanks for attending. All right.
We don't get people coming without some reason
We
for
don't even
being
get people
here.
watching our
Appreciate your attendance.
We're going to approve and set the next meeting date of February 11th, 2026. Does that work for everybody?
So far,
Everybody who's here anyway?
That's the second Wednesday?
We're hoping it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it right this time.
Okay, all right.
okay.
January is the only month where that was off.
Okay.
The
That's
next month
all
will be correct.
All right. Good. So the official calendar we signed off on is now correct
Yeah.
going forward. Okay, so we've got February 11th, 2026 for the next meeting date. Do we have any consultant vouchers or payments of bills? We haven't.
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Great. Other town notices?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Other correspondence. At this point, why don't we ask, we just take a few minutes, let Braden run down the hall, get that legal opinion. I'll read it into record. And we'll,
I think you just hit the highlights.
Yeah.
all right. It's legalese. It's all highlights.
Oh.
You read legal stuff, it's like,
Do you know if we gave a copy of that to the homeowners association, or?
I'll have to ask Braden. I don't think so. I think we were gonna wait till we had the report from Graves.
Okay.
Do it all in one shot.
Sure.
Surprising Graves hasn't finished that. That's unusual. They generally are pretty close to.
So while we're waiting for him to get it, just in case the two of you are here or anybody who's watching this video is interested in what this is about Country Club Acres, which is the over 55 community up off of Airport Road. You may or may not be aware of this, but there is a public walking path. There is actually a couple of car parking spaces where you can park, and you can get out and you can walk that path through that area there. It's not tremendously long, but it's a nice little place to walk. Most importantly, if you live in that area, it keeps you off of Airport Road, which, as many of you probably are aware, it can be pretty unsafe to walk on that street. The cars go pretty fast. Mr. Clark lives up there. He can attest to the fact that they go a little too fast up there.
Well, the speed limit is seen as a
Right.
suggestion.
So the reason why the town of Dudley has access to that, reason why it's a public and not just them up there that can use it, is because when the developer came to us originally, not necessarily this particular group of people, but the planning board of Dudley he asked to do what's called an open space development, where he agreed that he would set aside part of that property and use it for recreational, or in this case, a walking trail. In exchange for that, we allowed him to put more units in closer together than we normally would. So it was a trade-off. You get something, you give something, you get something. That was the whole idea behind it. Well, at some point, the people that live up there started to get upset with people that were walking on it. I guess they didn't like the size of some of the dogs that were being used up there. People were walking large dogs, and I don't know exactly how it came to a head, but then they went and got an attorney, and the attorney sent us something and was basically trying to say, hey, we think that the condo association has the right to restrict anybody from being able to use that walking trail. So we asked our town attorney for a legal opinion, and this is what they came up with. And we're going to send this over to the president of the condo association.
And the developer.
And, oh, you made copies for everybody.
No, it's one copy.
Oh, Jesus.
It's that long.
All right.
That long.
Okay. Let me see if I can get away with this reading.
Is there a summary?
Yeah, let's see.
It really isn't too many words, it's just she included pictures and whatnot.
Yeah. All right, so she acknowledges that we asked for an opinion regarding the walking trail for Country Club Acres, and that it's an open space residential development. That's what it was classified as. And that on or about December 21st, 2018, the planning board granted a special permit to Legacy Landing LLC, the applicant, for construction of a 22-unit age-restricted development at 61 Airport Road. The decision granting the special permit was recorded at the registry. At that time, pursuant to the deed recorded with the registry and book whatever, blah, 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 the property was owned by Ruta Realty, Inc. As condition 8 of the decision, the following was included. It is noted that the applicant wishes to allow the public to use the walking trail on site, subject to appropriate documentation to be approved along with the definitive plan. And then it goes on to describe what the trail should look like, that gravel trail, parking spaces for 2 cars, all of that stuff that I just mentioned. The lawyer says, I understand that condition 8 was included as a condition of approval in exchange for providing the applicant with a density bonus for the construction of additional units. So like I said, you got to put more units in on the same small footprint by allowing this to happen. So that was a condition, and then she goes on to say, it was my further understanding that the special permit, including condition 8, was never appealed, and that the appeal period has long since expired. So when we put conditions on a special permit, if the applicant has any reason that they don't want to go along with it, they have the right to appeal it. But there's a...
Anybody can appeal it.
Right, actually, you're right. So nobody appealed it. Nobody came and said, no, we don't like that the planning board is doing this. Then she actually cites some case law. Bonfatti versus Zoning Board of Appeals of Holliston. She summarizes, in my opinion, this is the clearest reason that the trust cannot eliminate condition 8 as outlined in the decision. And she's got some more case law here. The declaration of trust includes language to the effect that the trustees may grant revocable access to the walking trail for residents of the town aged 55 or older and subject to a query report showing no criminal convictions. So this was their argument. Their argument was that after the fact, when they were doing their master deed and their homeowners association and that whole thing, they created a trust document that had this language that basically said, hey, they believe they can revoke the right to public access. Yeah. And not only that, they can require a query report showing no criminal convictions. So they're going to go out there and stop you and say, hey, do you have a query?
55 too, yeah.
Yeah.
Check your birth certificate,
Right.
driver's license, ridiculous.
According to the most recent deed recorded with the registry, the current owner of the property is Travis Maroney individually, and thus it is my understanding that the trust does not now own the property. So it goes on because this actually changed hands a couple of times before it was finally finished.
Multiple times.
Right. So if the trust were a successor in interest, it might be entitled to seek a modification of the special permit through the usual public hearing process. So she's saying that if they really wanted to change this, they could come before us and request it, but it would have to go before a public hearing, and then we would have the right to deny it. However, even if this were the case, the planning board would be under no obligation to grant such modification, particularly to the extent that the applicant and subsequent development benefited from a density permit, density bonus expressly based in condition 8. In other words, in my opinion, the conditions of the special permit could have been appealed as claims belonging to the applicant, owners of the property, or aggrieved parties at the time the permit was granted or within the appeal period, and could be subject to a modification request from the applicant or owners of the property now. However, the appeal opportunity could not survive the nearly 7 years that have passed since the decision was issued, nor could the opportunity to seek a modification now have passed to the non-successor trust. See, and then she cites more case law, and she goes on to say trust counsel, so that's the lawyers for the for them. Trust counsel argues in the letter that the applicant's so-called desire to create a walking trail does not mean that the parcel owners intended to do so. It is my understanding, however, that the walking trail has at this time been constructed, and the current dispute concerns only the extent to which the public can use it, not whether the applicant or the parcel owners desired its existence. So she's basically saying that doesn't matter. In any event, to the extent that this is a dispute about the applicant and current or past owner's intentions for the walking trail, condition 8 contemplates such intentions are not relevant to interpretation of the board's conditions. In my opinion, the fact that the walking trail has been constructed on the open space parcel as depicted in the layout, she's got a nice map here, is good evidence of what was intended under condition 8. Moreover, the enabling statute, she cites Mass General Law, expressly authorizes a special permit granting authority to impose, quote, appropriate conditions, unquote, in the granting of special permits. The language of the statute does not predicate such conditions on anyone's intent, applicant, board, or owner. Local planning boards' actions are also granted, quote, broad discretion in determining what conditions should attach to a special permit and in determining the materiality of any claimed changes in circumstances. And then she cites more case law. And then it kind of goes on like that. But I think we get the gist of it at this point. Can I stop reading?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Please.
The only thing I read in that, who covers the liability on that walking trail?
It's not mentioned.
Yeah, I know. Do they cover it or does town cover it?
I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
Well, who's the property owner of record? Is it the contractor? I thought Hayes owned the property, bought the property. I know there's another party mentioned there, but I don't know where he sits.
This all started before I was even on the board.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Oh, no, the transaction, originally, it was Ruda Real Estate or whatever. And then now that gentleman who's mentioned, I believe, is somehow related to Mr. Ruda, our town administrator. But I don't see him as actively engaged in anything that goes on there.
maybe his name is still on one of the deeds that goes back to like one of the
I thought Hayes
underlying.
bought it. I thought he bought it outright.
He did. He bought it from Bobby Ruda.
Yeah.
I think once all the units were sold like they are now,
Yeah.
I think the master deed owns the property.
The homeowners association.
Yeah, because the homeowners, they only own the building itself.
Yeah,
They
the
don't
rest of
own-
it's common area.
They own the property. So the the walking trail is built on the common property. So the insurance policy they have to cover the entire
Yeah, they would have a
development
master insurance
Master
policy.
insurance, okay.
Master
Would cover-
So there's where the liability
It
lies.
would be no different than if the UPS man or the mailman walking up to your house to drop off a package fell down and got hurt.
Right, or bit by the dog
Yeah.
or whatever. So, but in that case, actually, that master policy is something that the homeowners association is the party to? All right, so they would then be the owners of record of that property contiguous to their actual dwellings.
Their monthly fees are paying for that insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, insurance for the
Right.
road.
So I don't know
Only
why
for the
that
road.
gentleman's name, other than, as
Road
you
and
said,
sidewalks.
maybe that's hasn't been an update on that, or one is pending.
All right, so I think that covers other correspondence. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor?
All right, all right. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.